Woodstocker. Hope you're doing well, Woodstocker. I had to say, I usually don't talk to you, but I had to say hi. Can you guys hear me? What's up, Woodstocker? How are you? Big Al. I gotta do my little intro, Big Al. Nah, it's not the same. What's going on, guys? John Springer Collectibles. This is a seller Q&A / coaching / all right, good. We gotta get back in touch. It's always my fault if I don't keep in touch. Little seller support. I was calling it, change it to coaching Q&A, but really you guys help coach me. Also, I learn a lot by watching you guys too and listening to you guys. Usually, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Step a little closer to the razor tomorrow morning. The razor? Finance Viper, welcome. I think there might be a typo. I don't know. Dr. Medallin, welcome. Finance Viper, thanks for coming in, guys. Woodstocker and Finance Viper have a lot in common. They were both featured on my YouTube interview channel, or interviews on YouTube for collector interviews. So please go to Springer Collectibles on YouTube and you can find their collector interviews. And they're very entertaining and also just a lot of good information. You guys might enjoy those. So check out Springer Collectibles on YouTube. Plus all of these Q&As or conversations are also on Springer Collectibles YouTube. You guys do me a favor also, give me a subscribe. A little shaggy. This is actually short for me. But yeah, I guess I could go a little closer. I have to run. Hey, yeah, Woodstocker, of course. What's going on? And we have a quick little giveaway here too. What's your question? So this cough, it's been a while. I don't know what that is. Allergies. All right, Woodstocker. We got 3 minutes left in the giveaway. Thank you guys for coming. It's been a while since I've done one of these little Q&As, so it's good. I'm a little rusty. I got to shake off the dust bunnies and the cobwebs. Got to give you a little bit of. Oh yeah, everyone. Yeah, it's all good, Big Al. I can take it for the most part. No, you know what, Big Al? I'm gonna ban you. No, that's one of my notes. Always no banning, not permanent banning. No permanent banning. We don't have to worry about that in these kind of streams that I do, and probably some of you guys out there that you guys do. I don't think you have to worry about like the hooligans and the charlatans and the ruffians. I don't know what other old words can I use. I'm super lame at auctions. I don't agree, but okay. This is a question I'm gonna read out loud. Is it possible for people to look at my shop? Oh, did you know I was doing look? It's like she's throwing me a softball. Is it possible for me to look at my shop if I'm not running an auction? I would prefer just to sell that way. Of course, you can be a seller on here without having to go live. Although I of course recommend going live. You can set up your shop pretty easily if you already have items in your shop. Just start doing it. Like you can add to your shop with the plus sign and just start building that shop, and then people will start discovering you that way too. From as a beard. So yeah, you can sell passively like that, Woodstocker. I've sold some big items on here actually doing it that way because sometimes they just aren't good for auctions. I sold a Wayne Gretzky rookie card on here, for example. So yeah, I would start listing them, take good pictures. Also, there's one issue I would say though, make sure you take your own pictures first. At least for me, the camera seems to be stuck on this wide angle. I talked to a couple of the whatnot reps, employees about that. And I was surprised to see that they hadn't heard other people complaining about that. And I've been on the app for a long time and I used to list from the phone and be able to zoom in. And now it's like this fixed lens, which is horrible for taking good pictures. Anyone else have that experience trying to list items either in their shop or during the show, trying to take pictures? So Woodstocker, you can do that, but I would recommend taking pictures first on your phone or however you want to take pictures and then add them because you can upload your own media. And Woodstocker, they even let you upload videos now, which is incredible. So I'm trying to stay positive with it because overall it's incredible what you can do with the shop. So I'm gonna give you a very long answer to your question, and I have more because that was the first topic that I want to talk about. You hate live. I hear you, Woodstocker. We could work something out too if you want me to be your seller. Because I like the live stuff. If you have good product, then I really like live. Then I get real crazy and fun. Probably do a G.I. Joe show today, but it's all about it's all about having the good product though. That could be a good solution with soccer for what we were talking about how we could work out a deal between us, whether it's a consignment or something like that, or partnerships like that. So that could be something to talk about for sure. So let's not forget that. I think that's your 2 flags. Oh yes. All right, here comes the giveaway. The Toy Man I think did a flag recently. Big Hal wins the giveaway. Big, yeah. The flags are going to be better locally, but I'm sure you don't want to deal with it local because of the shipping. Oh yeah, finance. Big Al, do I know what you collect? I don't think I do. Can you remind me what you collect, Big Al? Besides all the insults that you've collected and throw at me, no, two this week. Big Al. Big Al, maybe G.I. Joe? Star Wars? I don't even know. Finance Viper, shoot, go ahead. Motu, oh, Star Trek. Oh my God, Big Al, I have so much. Wait, that's right, you hate Star Wars. Oh my God. Oh, you got to see all the Star Trek stuff that I got. I might go live later. I just got a huge lot of Star Trek and Battlestar Galactica. I'm going to message you. Yeah, thank you, Woodstocker. I appreciate that. And Motu. I don't have much Motu right now, but definitely have the Star Trek. A lot of like 90s carded figures, but then I have like random Star Trek stuff too. So I'll definitely throw you a Star Trek giveaway. And then if you want to see other stuff, let me know. What is the most valuable Star Trek stuff anyway? What do you like? Is it like the most collectible? Would it be like the Migos? Because it seems like the 90s Star Trek stuff is plentiful. It's almost like the 90s Star Wars stuff where it's just overproduced. What's up, Robbie Rocket? Long time. Good to see you in the chat, bud. Finance Viper, let me know what your question is. And yeah. And if there's Battlestar Galactica people or Star Wars, Star Trek, my goodness. I just did two Star Wars shows as well. Anything really? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to show you some of the Star Trek stuff, but I have to be like the next stream. Actually, I have another lot of Battlestar Galactica to pick up that I didn't get yet. And I have a lot of starting lineup that just came in. A lot of cool stuff. Are we allowed to play movies during streams? We can do music. That's tough, finance, because I'm playing music right now. It affects me when I'm on YouTube. I don't know if there's any real penalty. I don't want to speak out of turn because there's like terms and conditions, and they've really been, I guess, how can I say this? Like they've been real serious about trust and safety, which is wonderful. But I've seen people play movies during streams, like in the background, the watch TV and stuff. I don't know if that's, a big no-no or anything. I've seen people, they put it on mute just kind of as a background. So I don't think there's a big problem with it. If you have a contact and whatnot, I would confirm or go into the Discord. You can always go into the Discord or email your contact and ask them, because I don't want to speak out of turn and not know, because stuff's changing all the time. They're always updating the terms and conditions, and things are changing, just like shipping was changing so much. I think it's finally settled in. And shipping actually is a really, really tough subject that I didn't realize. I knew it was tough, but tough in the fact that I spoke with someone from Whatnot recently, an employee at Whatnot, and they were telling me how a lot of sellers don't understand about dimensional weight, which is understandable. So they call and complain and think, why am I paying so much for shipping? So that's actually something I should do an entire show on, I think, is about shipping and about how you pack things efficiently so you don't get dinged over the 12, 12, 12, the dimensional weight. It's that void. It's they start charging you basically on, that's what it's, dimensional weight, like the weight of the package, what it would be, but they do it in terms of dimension instead of the actual weight. So you could have like a 2-pound item, right? But if you put it in like a 24 by 36 by 6 box, it's going to cost like probably over $100 if they could even ship that. Does that make sense? So you have to be very careful, like posters or heavy lots or lots of cards. You have to maybe set up shipping profiles beforehand so you have those ready to go and you kind of know what that's going to cost up front. Or be careful, I guess, with the way that you're bundling things as well. Or you can unbundle, by the way. That's a whole other, I didn't plan on talking about this today, but I believe you can still unbundle to get your shipping costs down, so you won't have all these big items together, which will increase the amount that you're going to have to spend. They're going to have to find you responsible for, even though you do get five how do you call it, like credits, basically. You get like 5 where Whatnot takes care of it. After that, you have to pay for it. So just be careful when you're selling large items about the dimensional weight. No kind of, you want things, mulligans, thank you, JC Dino. You want things packed as tight as you can in terms of void. You don't want to have void. And I guess they use 12, 12, 12 as that barometer, but I don't have a calculator right now, but 12 times 12 times 12, anything over that, and you start, I think, getting into the dimensional weight area. So just be aware of that. But back to the shop. Woodstocker talked about the shop. Do you guys know that you can take items from your shop and create auctions out of them? I don't know if everyone even knows that. That's one of the most important things, I think, as a seller, to know that you can do that. There's a lot of reasons for that. You have discovery. People can find you if they're searching just passively for something. Maybe they're searching, what's up, Roadster, like a video game. Just thought of video games, I saw Roadster. Maybe they're searching for a PlayStation 1 or something. And they see, oh, look at this. Springer has a PlayStation 1, and then they click on your profile. Oh shit, he's doing a video game stream too. So then they find your video game stream. So that's really good. Maybe they'll buy that and they'll start looking at your other items. They'll start bookmarking your shows, and then all of a sudden you have a new buyer or a new person to add to your community. So that's just one aspect of the shop. Then let's say you're live and you have that PlayStation item and you want to sell it live. You could just put it in the store and then someone asks about it, and instead of just having it as a buy now, you could run it as an auction. So that's one of the best things, I think. Corporate, great point there. I've recently started getting more sales from Marketplace. Yeah, and it's great because if you turn on what's it called? Offers. Except, you want to turn on offers. I think it's better. I think people, when they're buying, they want to feel like they're getting a better deal also. And I don't you want to charge what you want to charge to make sure it makes sense for you, but also I wouldn't do those things like the eBay tactics where people overcharge and then they discount it 20%. It's basically like that jewelry store tactic, where they overcharge you at the end. It looks good, but it's BS. So, I think allowing for offers is a good idea too. But the main thing about this is being able to use those listings while you're live. I think that's the most important part about this, what I'm saying. And it's really easy to do. It's easier to list on Whatnot than eBay by like 1,000 times. It takes probably one to list on Whatnot, like max. Like I don't think it's even more than that. Whereas eBay, you have to go through all these hoops and all these things you have to do. Whatnot makes it really easy to list. So if you haven't tried that yet, and you have questions, please let me know about that, guys. Let's do one more giveaway really quick. Let's see. How's it been going, Goth? How have your shows been doing, Corporate Goth? So Big Al's got the Star Trek stuff. And I did a video, actually. I was saying before, if you want to check out the old streams that we did these Q&As, then you can go to Springer Collectibles on YouTube, check that out. And you can also find a tutorial video I did on exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on one second. Found new merch, great shows now. All right, Corp. What kind of merchandise you sell? Let's take a look at what your shows are coming up. Maybe people can check you out. Got the 5 stars going. A little of this, little of that. And today, 10:42 p.m. We got a lot of bookmarks on that one. Bloom Chic. Did I say that right? Women's Contemporary. And then Snack Show. I love how you're mixing it up with different categories. That's great. Boutique, Vintage Women's. 42 bookmarks is incredible. So that's awesome. It sounds like you're really finding your niche. Niche? I don't know which one it is. Add more vintage shows. Yeah, it's always a good thing. We talk about that too. And Whatnot talks about this, I'm sure, with you guys. If you interact with whoever onboards you, you definitely want to create as many shows as you can so people can find you. And you can always change the dates and the times if you have to, if they're far out. Don't do it too much, but there's nothing wrong with starting to get some building some bookmarks and putting those out there. So you look like an active seller also. You don't have just maybe one or no shows planned. It doesn't really look like an active seller that someone's going to follow or keep coming back to. I think it's better to plan out some shows, guys, in advance. And Whatnot makes it really easy to do that too. I think it's different on the Android versus the iPhone, but I know on the iPhone you can plan out shows, daily, weekly, whatever. They give you different time frames and to repeat those shows. And then if you need to make thumbnails, if anyone has questions about that, you could do something as simple as taking pictures of the product. But you could also find free options like on Canva, for example, is a free option if you haven't used Canva. There's so many templates. It'll make you look a little more professional with your thumbnails. That's something I actually should do more with the thumbnails. I tend to do a lot of pop-ups. So, I don't think about the thumbnails as much. But the thumbnails are extremely important. Don't get me wrong. That's, especially with how many sellers there are now, you got to catch people's attention. I come from doing this since June 2021. There weren't as many sellers. So I took it seriously, but not that serious because I had the audience that would always come to see my niche shows, which is G.I. Joe. And I didn't have to really worry about that as much. Now, you're in a stream. There could be, depending on which category you're in, you could be up against 100 sellers at once. So I think you want to be able to stand out with your thumbnail, put some clickbait there, whatever you have to do, put your best item that's up for sale that day on there. And that will hopefully bring some people in. And then they can learn about you as a seller. It'll at least get them in the door of your virtual store. I always like to talk about how I treat this like a store, like a real brick and mortar. When people are in there, if there's questions, I want to make sure I answer every single question if I can. Mods will help with that. It's not a good feeling when you go into a show and you ask a question and there's silence. So that's been important for me since day one, is to connect with chat. I mean, you guys are there it's your time you're spending on my show. I want to give you attention. And I want to see what you're looking for. And if you're just there to hang out, that's amazing too. But if you have a question, I will always answer that question as long as I see the question. And I encourage people to repeat their questions too. You're not annoying if you repeat a question. Thank you, Woodstocker. I appreciate that. I mean, I feel like I know some of the buyers. I've never seen them before. I've never heard them before. I know them by their screen name. It's really weird. It is hard to do if you're trying to juggle. You need to ask questions. Some are shy too. Yeah, definitely socket. Are you saying the sellers are shy? Usually I'm not on camera. It is way easier to be off camera and juggle and answer questions for me. The buyers are shy. Great point, the socket. You definitely need to get that out of the buyers. Like, you could almost warm the buyers up because maybe they don't want to say anything. They feel bad asking you something. So if you encourage them, what are you looking for today, guys? Then they'll feel a little better. They won't feel like they're bothering you. Because let's say they're in a show and you're like deep into doing comics and they're like, well, this person looks like they might sell action figures, but I don't want to bother them during their show. You want them to bother you during the show, to a point. So, you want questions so they don't go away. Customer service I think that's part of why I have repeat customers. That's huge, corporate goth. Exactly. That's everything. They want to buy, from corporate goth. Why is my screen getting dark? Hold on. My screen just went dark. Did you guys see that or just me? No judgment zone. There we go. The socket, I think you must be a seller. Let's see. All right, so the socket, AAA used goods. The socket. Also, IG at AAA used goods. I don't see any shows coming up. It looks like you are a seller on here, but maybe not so active. Here we go. MMA Mamadis. I can't pronounce that one because I don't know why my camera went dark. But MMA, Doc, welcome. MMA, I think I'm reading that right. What do you collect? I hope you collect like WWE cards. I have a lot of those. That's nothing to do with MMA. There's a fear that other buyers are going to give you a hard time if you aren't super knowledgeable. Interesting. Woodstocker, that's a good point. I've never actually thought to talk about. I'd love to talk about that because that's a fear I didn't have, luckily, and I'll explain why in a second. Did MMA one? Let's see. Let me know what you collect. I do these little collector goodie bags. So the last person said they collect Star Trek, so I'm going to send him some kind of Star Trek item. And MMA, let me know what you collect. I usually default to like Pokemon if I don't hear anything, because Pokemon could be for the collector. It could be, if you give them out to kids, if I don't hear anything. So let me know. All right, so Woodstocker, my buyers have actually been helpful. Yeah, exactly, corporate. That you took the words out of my mouth. I love it. You guys are so much more helpful, honestly, than me sometimes. Let's see. You have to be humble and learn. 2 for 2, you guys are 2 for 2 with your comments. Thankfully, you don't see that too much on Whatnot. Agree. It's like that. People are way more humble on here, or not humble. I'm trying to say they're just nicer. They're more patient. They're not going to go in there and like, oh, you don't know this or that, like comic book guy kind of stuff from Simpsons. They're not going to comic book guy you because you don't know what year a certain G.I. Joe came out or something like that. Humble is a good word too. They go. I think the communities, at least that I've seen, are amazing. And if somebody is acting like that, chat is going to jump on them anyway, probably, and be like, "What are you doing here with your terrible energy and your bad vibes?" So I wouldn't worry about that at all. Like I led with, "Hey, like I played with these toys when I was a kid. I love them." Well, blocking them, I'd rather turn that frown upside down though, Doc, and not block them. I'd rather win their, neutralness than their snarkiness. Like, let's take the snarky down. Why are you here? You must be here for a reason. Or maybe I'll turn it into, hey, can you help me more? Like, I'm glad you knew that. Let's refer to you. You're like my mod now. Maybe you're not a mod because you're not being nice to everybody apparently, but then you leverage what they know, and I think that then they start to soften up. I bet. I would also, but sometimes it doesn't work, sadly. Oh, I got you. Yeah, I mean, if you have a bad person in the chat, you got a bad person in the chat. But that's rare for me. So I led with, hey, I played with these toys when I was a kid. I didn't know the names. Like, people were helping me with the names like the first time I did the streams. And they were actually, some of the chat found it enjoyable to be able to share their knowledge too. And then if there's certain things you don't know, then chat will come in and help anyway. They want to help out. They want to talk about what they're passionate about. So I don't know. I haven't seen that happen. I could see why you'd be worried about it, especially you, Woodstocker. Like, everyone has like nothing but respect and love for you, Woodstocker, in the G.I. Joe community. So I would definitely like get that out of your head. Like, that'll never happen to you, ever. Like, I guarantee you that. And I'd be shocked if it did, because the Joe community, just like Star Wars, just like Garbage Pail Kids and other communities that I have sold in have been nothing but positive. That's what makes the different Whatnot communities amazing. There's so much help. Yeah, so Facebook community versus Whatnot is a totally different thing. You're right. Like Facebook, I don't know what it is, but people have to be snarky and sarcastic and like put people down for asking like newbie questions. I think there's no value in that. There's no productivity in that. That's just you're taking something that everyone loves and you're just shitting on it for no reason. Why? Just don't say anything at all. Do you know what I mean? They're totally different. I don't understand it either, but I see why you bring that here and why other people might. You're not snarky at all, right, Big Al? So actually, Woodstock, that's a good point because let's say you're new to Whatnot and the only thing you know is Facebook or Insta or whatever you know, or Twitch, I don't know, whatever else you know that you from streaming or from live selling or groups. Maybe you bring that mentality into here, and we need to change that. Like that was a good point, Woodstocker. Has anyone else experienced that where you have like chat being snarky or chat being like know-it-alls to you? Is that worrying other sellers? I'm just wondering about that because it's a good topic. But I would turn it around and just be humble and be honest about what you do and do not know, and just say, look, you know, here I'm like if I were to sell like Battlestar Galactica, I'm not going to know anything about Battlestar Galactica, and people can say what they're going to say, and if they want to buy it, they want to buy it. If not, that's fine too. You know, and I've learned to like Garbage Pail Kids. I know a lot about the old stuff, but I knew nothing about the new stuff. So chat was very helpful, and other sellers were very helpful in helping me understand about the new product for Garbage Pail Kids. Like for example, doing a Garbage Pail Kids break. Like I didn't know what a digital break was, and most people wouldn't know what that is. And there was a seller called Karmalots that I watched, and he taught me what a digital break is. So little things like that. Don't be afraid to ask, is what I would say. Sometimes chat is trying to help, but just reading text seller can take it the wrong way. Oh my God, JC Dino, 1,000%. Teach his own, laugh, nod, and move on. I love it, Socket. Socket, you're ready to sell in here a lot with that kind of attitude. I think on Facebook, though, people ask questions they should have read, and annoys people seeing all the time. I get it, corporate. I personally would ignore it if I was them, but I do get it when they're trying to get a shortcut asking questions. So it's like two different things. It's like, does this have any value? It's like, well, have you heard of Google? I think that's the kind of response that they would get. Or I know what you mean, though. Like they ask really basic questions they could learn on their own, and that becomes annoying. They're not asking like questions that are true questions about the hobby that they couldn't figure out on their own, I think is what you're trying to say. But I haven't had that experience on Whatnot whatsoever, even coming from somebody that knows nothing about or knew nothing about most of the stuff that I was selling. Like Big Biz knows what I'm talking about. Big Biz was on here early. I literally learned G.I. Joe, like the collector fandom side of it, because of Whatnot. Like probably 90% of what I knew. And then I became like a quote unquote expert, which I really kind of did become that from doing over 1,000 G.I. Joe shows. I knew comps. I knew all the little details, like the rare variations, the weapons, what year the figures were. I just learned it as I went. And then it became like just, you know, natural to know all that stuff. Now I'm starting to forget it all because I stopped doing the Joe shows as much. Same thing with Star Wars. I could look at a figure, you know exactly what year it's from, but the first time I didn't even know the guy's name. So I had a full G.I. Joe. G.I. Ho? G.I. Joe set. Oh, nice. How do you mean a full G.I. Joe set? Let's do one more giveaway, by the way. I didn't find out of cards. Oh, so it sounds like you have 1991 Impel G.I. Joe. I'm hoping for value-wise, you might have 1986. See, I wouldn't have, it's Impel. See, I wouldn't have known that like 2 years ago. I would have no clue. Hold on. Let's see. That set is a collectible set for, you know, but it's not gonna, you know, it's not valuable in terms of, except in terms of money. But if you saw, did you see Logan Paul? I thought it was fake, but it wasn't fake. When he opened up like vintage Pokemon, did you guys see that? And it was G.I. Joe. It was horrible, like seeing that. But I thought it was going to help G.I. Joe values, but it didn't do anything. Like he was opening up, I think, like a $300,000 rare box of Pokemon. No, it's not a bad. See the socket. I always I translate autocorrect on here all the time. I knew you were saying G.I. Joe, not G.I. Joe. Knight Rider fan, welcome. Knight Rider, man, underrated. Kind of underrated, right? Like, think about it, Knight Rider fan. Now we take all this shit for granted. Like, remember we watched Michael Knight and he had his watch, which I had a watch on, and he could talk to Kit. We could do that now, and we're like, no big deal. Like, if my annoying watch not working, I don't have good Wi-Fi on my watch. Like, you can talk to your freaking watch like Michael Knight, and we're like, yeah, whatever. I remember that with like video calling, how people like took video calling for granted. It's so strange. Anyway, Treasure Man, John Springer, great advice, great seller, good vibes. Thank you, Treasure Man. I appreciate you always. I'm just reading the chats here. I've always learned lots on here. I first came to buy and sell Pokemon and now branched. Yeah, Treasure Man, thank you. I think Treasure Man said he bought his first Joe from me. A lot of people bought their first lots and were introduced to whatnot from my streams, which I truly appreciate. I got on here because of a really nice seller that was just generous and gave me kind of the roadmap, or I guess our connection to show whatnot that we could be sellers on here, that we had the, I started Springer cards, so it's a whole different story. But I started doing sports memorabilia, which I'm going to start doing a lot more of that again, by the way. I'll talk about that in a second because I want to read this chat from Big Al. That's like when someone asks what let's say, if something is worth, I tell them a lot of time could see what it sold for on eBay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Predicted the future. Knight Rider. I mean, it's crazy, actually. Self-driving cars. You're right. Knight Rider really hit the nail on a lot of stuff like that. The talking car, too. Like, it's basically like kind of like Siri, kind of like Echo, or excuse me, Alexa. What was I saying? Oh, sports memorabilia. So we were one of the first sports memorabilia sellers on the app. And if you guys have watched, if you watched Golden Auctions show on Netflix, if you know the two Robbies, I'm going to start doing something with the Robbies because they're local. And that's actually where we sold our first memorabilia stuff from their shop, which is like 10 minutes from where I am right now. So I just talked to him this morning, actually. He doesn't have time to sell on here, even though he's got a channel, and I'm going to start working with him and either probably sell through their channel. And they have just amazing stuff, obviously. So sports memorabilia, I do have here also. I do sell sports memorabilia, autographs, all that kind of stuff, cards, sets, everything. I do branch out on here. I do, collectible, anything collectible. I try to do shows on here. Sold eBay prices can be inflated. Yeah, you got to look out for the fake eBay prices. Of course, you have to have a lot of comps because there's so much. You can only find you'll be able to find like Princess Diana Beanie Babies that show that they're worth $500,000, which is complete bullshit. Or a Jose Uribe error card from 1990 is complete bullshit. There's a lot. I don't know why eBay can't get rid of all those fake sales and listings. But anyway, I love when people say go-to answer. What's worth what people are willing to pay. I mean, so you have to look at comps though first. Like that's true about anything. But I think when someone asks that, like they got to see comps. That's all there is to it. And it would be cool if Whatnot was able to. They can't really do the comp thing on here. It's not the same. Maybe they could in some aspects, but eBay is kind of like, or 130 point sites like that, or maybe I don't know what other sites you can see the sold prices, but you have to look at that stuff. That dictates everything. They should be manipulated. It could be manipulated, and screenshots. It is difficult. I guess it depends on the fandom too. So did Star Trek, the communicator, the tablets, and some other stuff? Yeah, Star Trek was definitely ahead of their time on technology. You're right. I guess Back to the Future 2 didn't really hit that many, did they? Actually what Back to the Future 2 did hit, remember that scene where Doc tells him when the rain's going to stop? Like, do you remember how insane you thought that was when you were a kid? And like, we can do that now. And nobody talks about that either. Like, you can literally do that with your phone and see what time the rain stops. It's freaking crazy. All right, guys, 17 seconds on the giveaway. And I'd love to hear another topic you guys want to talk about before I end today. I'm going to go a little longer. And then I'd love to raid somebody too. We're definitely going to talk about raids. So if you can give me a heads up on someone to raid, I actually might go live. I was going to go live right from this, but it doesn't feel right to do a coaching seller Q&A thing into a live stream. That doesn't feel right. Here comes the winner. And plus I want to set up and stuff. But Sugar Ray, look at that. The Givey is, so I call them collector goodie bags. So I find out what you collect. Like Sugar Ray, I'm going to give him a Sugar Ray CD with Mark McGrath on the cover. No, Sugar Ray, what do you collect? So like one person said they collect Star Trek, so I'm going to give them a little Star Trek goodie bag. I think that might be some sort of, I don't know, some sort of rule to show on screen, but I established I've done too many. I don't know how many giveaways I've done because it's a lot of money. I think I've done like 3,000 more giveaways on here. Baseball cards, perfect. Sugar Ray, tell me about, is there a certain player or era or team that you collect? And I'll make you a little goodie bag. I think the goodie bags are fun because you get a little surprise in the mail, and it's something you actually like instead of just some random thing that I put up there. So you still change categories. Wait, corporate, you can? I didn't know that. Please teach us. Ooh, Mets and Pete Alonso. Oh, perfect. Okay. Mets plus Pete. Did I tell you the story, Sugar Ray? Do you know about my Doc Gooden story that I tell on here all the time? Let's see. That I did a show with Doc Gooden. One of my first when I was doing sports cards. Oh yeah, it's a good. I need to put it on YouTube. But hold on, I want to hear how to change. He's the best guy ever, Sugar Ray, from my experience. In the couple hours I spent with him, he was telling the best stories. I had him opening up 87 tops rack packs. That's what I had. I think we are gonna open up 85 tops packs. I forgot why we didn't to get his rookie, but we had like hundreds of his cards. He was signing the cards. He was telling stories about every player. I asked him like about if you remember taking the picture for his first baseball card, his rookie card, and he told that story. It was really cool. He told us how he bumped Michael Jackson off the cover of, I think, People or one of those magazines because he was the hot name at the time. I think it was People. Anyway, we had him sign that. And what else did he do? It was amazing. He's just and he probably had 3 of the best pitching seasons of any pitcher ever, I think. Like, given his age, given all the circumstances. Let's see. I start on phone and run them from computer. On the computer, I went to shows edit. Ooh, that's a nice little tip right there. Corporate Goth, I love that. I need to write that down. So what that means to me, Corporate Goth, is they still haven't realized the PC side of things. They haven't fixed that yet because they probably are trying to make everything uniform, I think. So you'll be able to find like lags and updates on things like the PC. Maybe you can still do some old school things you couldn't do that you can't do now on the phone. So what Corporate Goth is saying is if you need to change categories during a show, which there could be some benefit to doing that, you can still do it on the computer. That's interesting. Whatnot will hopefully be the new eBay, but better. Ooh, great question, J-Bar. I don't know. I don't know if they're a lot of the companies like this, is their goal to get acquired by an eBay? I'm not sure, but I think that live stream selling is such in its infancy. Like if I'm going to do an analogy, it's like the internet before we dial up, and when people, or email. When I first got an email, I was like, I don't know what the hell is this email. I didn't know what it was. I think we're still in infancy for that, for live selling. I don't think anyone knows what live selling is for the most part. I could safely say 99% of the people that I would talk to have no clue what live stream selling is, have no clue what Whatnot is, don't understand any of this. Would you guys agree with that? They don't care. They just collect your money. I think that, it could be. Why not, right? But I know eBay and others have tried to do the same thing. I think eBay does live selling, but I don't think it's taken on, or it's taken off like they expected. On District, how do you mean with? See, I don't know. I don't know the other platforms. Is District another platform like this? Most people I talk to have never heard of Whatnot. Exactly, corporate. It's actually blows my mind. This is so new. Whereas in China, I believe that they can go to school to do live stream selling. I think it's like they could major in that. I think I could be wrong. I remember reading an article about that, how it's so big in China. So they're always ahead of things in places like China. So I think live stream selling is definitely in its infancy. I always call it, it's QVC meets eBay. I hate saying on crack, but that's whatever, on speed, whatever you're gonna call it. Just it's or it meets Twitch, it meets social media. Younger generation is going to understand this. This is like normal to them. I'm Gen X, because they have not advertised it well towards every and all target. I just don't think people understand the concept, Punisher. When I explain it to people, they just don't even get it. Like it's not like part of. They don't like even understand it. Yeah, but QVC has been exactly. So that's why I like to use the QVC analogy, because maybe they can understand it. Like it's like having my own QVC show, but you combine that with eBay. I don't know how else to describe it to somebody until I show it to them. Like literally, I could tell them exactly what this is, and they still can't wrap their head around it until you show it to them. Does that make sense? To be honest, a new advertising department was needed because it was all up to sellers to self-promote. I hear that. I don't really know much about that. You might be right. Maybe they're not promoting as much as they could. It could be true, Pon. It's kind of been an organic growth for them, I would say, for the most part. It's not like they're doing acquisitions or anything like that. So eBay has TV commercials, and they slap that logo everywhere. True. But eBay's been around since the 90s also. I'd say Whatnot has exceeded expectations in terms of how quickly it's grown, how the technology has exploded. Pun, you were on here early, and you saw how the app was working then and the options. It has almost out of control how amazing the features are and things like that. So I think it can only go up from here. It's only getting bigger, I would think. That would be a good comparison. Gonna say QVC now. Yeah, I mean, it's live selling, but it's auctions. It's, I think that's what's up, Twisted. Twisted, thanks again for the other night, that crazy night with what were we doing? Was I doing Garbage Pail Kids? I appreciate you. I literally, this is actually a good story, Twisted. This will be like maybe the last thing I talk about tonight. Wait, did I say who won the giveaway? Sugar Ray already told me. Okay, Mets. It was inevitable to change, though. They call advancing as a business. Yeah, I mean, you have to. They've grown a lot. I don't know if their intentions to go public or what. I really don't know what their intentions are. But it's a great platform, and I think more and more people are going to learn about it. But let's see. Of course, first you offer dollar shipping. Yeah, you have to build business. Exactly. Thanks, Twisted. I appreciate that. So here's a good story, actually, because I always talk about on here how not to get discouraged when you don't have an audience of people, and it's so hard not to look at that little number at the top right corner. Am I pointing to it? Where the people are, how many people are in the stream. It's so hard not to look at that. I almost want to put tape on it sometimes because it changes the mentality sometimes, for better or for worse, mostly for worse. But I was down for some reason. It was a late night, and I was doing Garbage Pail Kids, which is already a really small niche. And I was down. I've never had this happen before. It happened. Oh, it's the opposite corner. Oh, cool. Okay, that's interesting. So if I'm pointing right there, that's the number of people. Cool. Didn't know that. See, I learned. Huh. So I was down to like 3 people, then 2 people, and then 1, which was me, I guess. And I was like, I guess the show's over. And then it was a weird feeling because I wasn't used to having that many people, and it's really mentally discouraging when that happens. A small audience, but you shouldn't get discouraged. Twisted came in. You remember that night, Big? Okay. And Twisted came in, and I was like, yeah, I was about to end it, man. I literally was like about to end it. And he came in and just hung out for a little bit. And another person came in, and all of a sudden, 20, and it ended up saving another box or 2 of Garbage Pail Kids just from that patient and waiting and not getting discouraged. I thought it was a good example. Another seller called Art of War mentioned this too, that he ran, I think it was like for maybe 2 hours, maybe it's not that long, 20 minutes, I think, without anyone buying a thing. And he just kept running it and running it and running it. He didn't get discouraged. And eventually he started getting buyers. And eventually he was selling 200 items, I think, in that very show. So thank you, Twisted. Appreciate that. The best advice is don't look at the number. Is it though? See, the reason to look at the numbers, because I kind of like to know where I'm at. Maybe it is best advice. I kind of, I don't know. That's a good question. That's something I haven't really thought enough about, Punisher. Do you look at the number? Don't you look at the number? I don't know. What do you guys think, Chad? Do you think it's worse to look at the number? I still look, but I've learned you don't need a lot of people. That's a good point. That's Corporate Goth. That's amazing. We could all learn from that. So Corporate Goth just said, because we can't see the chats on here after this is posted, I still look at the number, but I've learned you don't need a lot of people. Past 3 shows had an average of 3 people and my highest sales. So that says it all. It's like I was talking about how it's a store, like it's like a brick and mortar. So really, if you think about it, 3 is great. Like if Corporate Goth has 3 people willing to shop with Corporate Goth right there in her, virtual store, that's the good thing. So I think I also need to remember how important that is. That's all you need. You need 1 or 2 or 3. Have you touched on being able to win buyers, giveies without being a buyer? I haven't talked about that. I guess that's a glitch in Whatnot as far as people being able to get into this. I don't really do the buyer giveaways. Maybe I should, but I think you just have to. It's just an unfortunate thing. I'd love to hear other sellers' opinions about that. I think it's an unfortunate thing they can't control, at least now. But I don't know enough about it to really have a strong opinion on it. I think it's a shame, Matt. I think if I wouldn't feel good about winning a giveaway like that either. But it's also possible that the giveaway pops up, they're scrolling, they just see a giveaway, they hit enter, they're not even paying attention. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I think that sucks. Is all I can really say. And maybe it's something to talk to. I would go in the Discord for Whatnot and see if they're working on fixing that. Let me scroll down and see if anyone else knows. I feel bad for some streamers with only 1 or 2 people in it. J-Bar, I agree. You can have 100 people in the room and no sales, or at 5 and big. Twisted, another great point there too. I love hearing your guys' feedback is invaluable to doing these kind of things because you guys think of stuff I'm not thinking about. So buyers giveaways legally cannot be buyers only. There you go. Corporate gives a good answer. Let's see. Oh, okay. New person. I love this. Simply Smart Shopping. I'm new and I run my show as if I can't see the number count. People can watch your past shows and purchase from Marketplace. Great point. Okay, simply, I love that. So that way you don't get in your head about the numbers, right? I will say this though, the numbers used to boost me. Maybe it's just me. I get like a dopamine kick when I would get these big numbers when I was doing Joe streams. It would hype me up. I don't know what, because you had more people interested. It was more fun having all those people. I don't know what it was. It was more engaging with chat. But yes, you can save your past shows. If it's not selected already and you want it to save, make sure that you have that selected so your past shows save. I believe they save for 90 days. I'd also highly recommend if you can connect your shows to another app like YouTube, where you can simul stream. Like I'm simul streaming on YouTube right now. I'm casting to YouTube right now, but I don't even remember I'm doing it. And then all of a sudden I have all this YouTube content, and also it's not expiring after 90 days. So I have access to those videos. Plus you can access what's called, you can clip past shows. So you can use those for social media if you want to pull out a few clips and use those for social or for whatever you want to use them for. So long answer, short answer would be yes, you can watch the past shows. Let's see. I saw a seller cancel a buyer giveaway when a non-buyer won. That's interesting, JC. I mean, if the person that won the giveaway understands that and everything's cool, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if corporate said that you can't do that, that's a different story. You can fill out a form to enter. Right. So that person's purposely doing it, corporate saying. So yeah, that's not okay. If you're filling out the form and you didn't buy, that's kind of I don't like it. I don't know what to say, but that's not cool at all. The Junk Cartel is the best for GPK. Yeah, Junk Cartel. I've seen it a couple times. I like Karmalots, awesome on GPK. Blender. There's all the GPK sellers are great that I've dealt with. There might be one that had a cigarette smoking issue when I got the package, but that's it. Which Joe is this? Oh, so Suckerman. Remember my name is what was my code name if I was G.I. Joe? It was either Derailed or Rabbit Hole. I forgot which one was it. It was something else. Okay, you can hide your past shows. You could hide them, or it sounded like simply didn't want to hide them, but you can hide them. Oh, I do hide most shows and leave up. Okay, others for market sales. Got it. You definitely want to keep your shop loaded with stuff. Simply, if you're new here, I was talking about this in the beginning. It was the first topic, which was load up that shop because people could discover you that way. Also, during your live streams, you can run those as auctions, and it's really easy to import them into your show by going to your shop and importing those items. And then people can either buy them or you can run them as auctions, which I think is amazing. Twisted says, personally, I had nights with 40 people, an hour of no sales, got under 10 and sold over 1,000 in sales. It is weird. I don't get twisted. The number's evil. Maybe I really need to stop paying attention to that number. I'm gonna try Twisted. I'm gonna do a little experiment. I'm gonna put tape on there or something like that, so I have no idea what the number is. And I think it's kind of that I can sell from a neutral point of view. I'm gonna try that experiment and see if it helps me mentally to not focus on that number. I think has anyone else done that? I think that's a good. Hallowed, welcome. Your items are discoverable without the shows. There you go, corporate. Yes, great point again, corporate. Thank you for your help today. Yeah, your items are discoverable. You don't have to worry about those past shows. That's not how people are going to find your items anyway. They're not going to go and watch the past shows and see, oh, they didn't sell this item, so I'm going to try to find that. It only takes one buyer, so sucker man. That's right. That number can hurt the mindset, Tristan says. Yeah, you're right. Some of us can watch, listen to shows without going into the room. So how do you mean? Watch, listen to shows without going into the room? I also remind myself people rewatching need a stellar presentation as well. I love that, Katie. That's a great point. Right, I'm putting all this out there, right? You're selling. You want to come across the way you want to come across, right? So I agree with you. You definitely want to show up in your best way, especially if you're simulcasting like I am to YouTube, or people are clipping the show, or it's in your past shows. I don't know if people actually watch the past shows. It's probably a very, very tiny number, but I agree with you. Let's see, Katie Carney Creations. Let's see what Katie sells. I like to read other sellers' profiles. And also, if you want to shout out your shows too, guys, this is a good place to do that. Paper makes me happy. So do stickers and glitter and all craft and thrift stores. Been crafted all my life. Love to share gifts and fabulous finds. So this is a niche I don't know much about, which is always interesting. I love learning about different niches on here. And today at 8, Katie Carney Creations is a show at 8, and looks like it's vintage and modern board games and toys. That's interesting. I didn't know there was a vintage board games and toys category. I actually have some of those. And then Turned Up Thursdays. Other craft supplies. Now, craft supplies, I bet, is big on here, and that's something I know nothing about. I love the different niches on here, niches, and then storage unit finds. You are in some great variety of shows here. So good stuff, Katie. Let's see. Crafty sales are branching out, working myself to 1K in sales. Sweet. Yeah, the 1K in sales is important, right, for the payouts. I think that's like a benchmark. Oh, my pleasure. Happy to shout anybody out, and you guys shout yourselves out. This is a cool place to do that. Anytime I do a show, I always encourage other sellers to, be heard, to say what's coming up. And, you never know who's in the room, and maybe that'll help them out. Like, oh, you could bookmark. Hold on, getting pop-ups. You could bookmark those shows, and you would never have discovered Katie's Carney's Creations if she didn't say anything. So you got to shout it out. I didn't even know the category existed, so I just learned that today. Ask any question. Thank you, buddy. That's right, Howard. I talked about that earlier, actually, too. Let's see. Facts, Big Al. I missed it. John isn't safe from himself. I don't have to go into the room to watch. Let's see. Oh, John is marked as safe. His unofficial mod is here. Yes. Rewatching and stellar presentations. I appreciate you guys here. I actually need to go live in a little bit. You got it. Thanks, Howard. Did you get any of those Star Wars magazines yet, Hallowed? I think this has been a fun show today. I think we learned a lot. I learned a lot from you guys, and hopefully you guys learned a lot from the conversation so far. Let's do one more giveaway, and then we'll do a raid. Let's see. Giveaway. We'll do one more. One box got here. Haven't opened it yet. All right, cool. I'm almost out of Star Wars magazines. I think I have like 2 or 3 left now, unfortunately. But thank you, Hallowed. So it's a collector's goodie bag is what we give out. Let's see. You know what I learned the other day, actually, if any sellers here? You used to be able to add an item really quickly, and I didn't know it was called, they still have something in there called quick add. Because at one point they switched it and you had to put a photo, which is not a bad thing, but you're required to put a photo, but it made it slower to add things. Now, and I missed this the whole time it's been sitting there, it's this little lightning bolt in the corner or whatever it is. It's a lightning bolt, some kind of icon. And you can do a quick add. I had no idea. I mean, how did I miss that? So you never know. Like, I could tell you guys all the stuff I know, and then, hold on, I just accidentally chatted. And then I just learned about quick add. Do you guys know about quick add? Any sellers in here? Because I had no idea. So quick add is awesome. I definitely want to start using quick add. I feel like it's awesome, right, Mama? That was how it used to be. Haven't used it during a show yet. Okay. I use during shows as corporate. I'm actually mad I didn't know about that because at one point they changed it, and that's how I used to run my shows. I would quick add throughout the whole show, and just like it was easy, right? And then that went away, and I just adjusted, not realizing it had been there the whole time. So that's something to look for next time, guys. The quick add. All right, who is this? Mama's Toy Box. Let's look at Mama's Toy Box's profile. I love how you guys all have 5 stars. Oh, it's tough though because you only have 28 reviews. You guys, that kind of is frustrating for me to see. Like, you don't have a lot of reviews. One person can screw that score up early. So just I'll talk about that in a second. What I would recommend: Mama's Toy Box LLC, the pop culture mama. I love it. I have all the right things. What a great profile that is already. It looks like you've been on here for a little bit. And today at 9, and what a great thumbnail too for Mama's Toy Box. All things kawaii. Is that like kawaii stuff? I don't even know. See, that's another top category I'm not too familiar with. Then all the things sale, other toys. So I love it. Mama's Toy Box already has 3 nice shows set up, which is what we should be doing as sellers. Let's see what I'm trying to read these. I like to read the chats on the PC normally, but it's easier right now. People can watch on cell without clicking in your. Oh, yes. So you're saying that they can watch like the little thumbnail preview. I haven't had that working on my phone for some reason, where you can actually see like a little like a live show, but actually click on it. That's a good point, though. That is important. They can watch the whole show. That's what I mean. I'm sorry. Yeah. Going out for a coupon for reviews. I want to do that to get people to review. Oh, great question, corporate. I don't see why not. That's a brilliant idea. So what I do, and I could do better with this always, is I put a little note in the package for new buyers. So I was really happy to see that they added the new buyer thing. That was one of my suggestions early on, to put like a star or something telling us this is a new buyer. So I knew that the communication will be a little different than somebody that's already purchased before. But, you put a little note in there saying, if you're not happy with your order, please contact me first. please give me 5 stars, reviews if you're happy with the order, stuff like that. Just put some kind of note in there that tells them that you're here for them, that you're a person, that reach out and I will make sure everything is okay, that you don't have to worry about any issues with your order. Because you don't want people going in there and dinging you right away without you getting a chance to fix it. Sometimes it's not your fault either. And that's not really fair. They go on there and Yelp review you basically because they walked in and the host took 5 minutes to sit them. And that has nothing to do with the food. I'm not saying that that's what we do, but I rarely have had an issue with the orders. And I always work with people before they get to the point of leaving like a bad review like that. So if you're a new seller, I really highly encourage, you should do it all the time, but especially if you're a new seller, you should reach out to your buyers in the packaging, maybe even in chat. Because if you're just starting off, you need that 5 stars, in my opinion, every single time. Try to keep that consistent. There's no reason to get dinged like that. It's not even fair anyway if you didn't do anything wrong. Now, if you're doing something wrong as a seller and you can learn from that review and you packed it incorrectly or you were missing an item, that's a different story. But I like your idea, Corporate, about the coupon. Let's see. For some reason, a lot of people do not do reviews. I don't know why either, Mama. A lot of people will click away from it and forget it. I think you want to encourage the reviews too. I think if you put something in the box asking for that, reciprocate. Hopefully they'll reciprocate and it reminds them to do the review also. But it just becomes a volume thing at that point, Mama's Toy, that you just got to keep. I've sold over 25,000 items and I think I have 8,000 some reviews. So I don't know if that's the same math across the board. If it's like 1 out of 3, maybe 1 out of 4 people review. I always encourage reviews, and I had built a great community where people have been so generous with their reviews. So I feel like they almost do me a favor by doing them too. First time picker, congrats. Like they almost feel like compelled to do it because they want to help me out, which is amazing. First time picker, I feel like you've won giveaways before. That remind me what you collect or what I can get for you. It's a show for storage unit. It can sell different categories like video. Heck yeah, I would think so. Yeah, anytime. So storage unit was one of my favorite things that popped up because I am like an everything seller. So I want to have access to all those things if you don't want to like pigeonhole yourself. And I think I talked to someone from Whatnot the other day, and he was saying how that's one of the reasons they got rid of some of the little categories like G.I. Joe, Star Wars, because they want people to just be able to sell more than just that in the stream, and you can use tags. So I don't think there's anything wrong with using storage units or other types of categories to sell multiple items. If I'm understanding the question. But yeah, I think first time, especially the name like first time picker, I feel like you belong in the storage unit category anyway. Let's see. G.I. Joe. Yeah. I mean, I would sell. You could do that in other toys and action and vintage. If you can combine some of the items you're talking about into one category, that's going to be an advantage. So you get like the types of sellers that you're looking for. But like, here's a great example of why this is tough. I would sell more in Pokemon in a storage unit stream than I would in a Pokemon stream. Because if I go and do Pokemon, this is for me at least, because I'm not known in Pokemon, I'm going to get no view. I get no viewers if I go into Pokemon. I hate saying things like that, but it's just the truth. But if I have Pokemon in storage units or something like that, I will get Pokemon people buying. And they look for that too. It's almost like too much in the Pokemon category. So I think they go looking in other categories too. They go looking for people that are doing storage units for sports cards. So it's not, they can maybe get a good deal from someone that's not specializing in that, if that makes sense. Let me read the rest of the chat so I don't want to miss these. It's first time. What can I get you in your giveaway, in your collector's goodie bag, by the way? Oh, G.I. Joe, you said. Oh, perfect. See, sometimes the context of the chats is hard for me to keep up. All right, let's see. It would be great to be able to be in 2 categories. I agree, Corporate. I think that they're going more towards a tagging system, maybe, Corporate. So you can people can search and filter by tag for the items they're looking for. I did a makeup and munchie show, but can only advertise in one category. Yeah, that's tough, Corporate. Exactly. I mean, that's an interesting combo, but it works, Interesting combo, like the pizza combo. That's an interesting combo. Let's see. I'm debating moving my game shows to storage unit. Oh, you do game shows. Oh, your games shows. Okay, got it. To storage unit finds that. That's a good idea. It's worth at least a try because I didn't know that category existed, Katie. So I'm guessing a lot of other people don't know it exists either. So you should try new things and maybe combine that with some of the other stuff that you have and you have access to. I think you got to try it out. That's definitely one of the challenges I feel like being on here is that niche. Like it's great to do a one item type show, like if you're doing all Funko or all diecast or all Star Wars. But sometimes you just can't do that. You don't have enough inventory for that, or whatever the reason is. Maybe certain things speak to one another too, like sports memorabilia, baseball cards, and starting lineups. It could be all one thing, but not just a small niche. So I think it's worth a try. And storage units seems to be one of the ways to do that. I guess there's the at and whatnot category, which I haven't checked out yet. Have you guys done the whatnot category yet? Because does that encapsulate all the things? Let's see. Buyers aren't finding you in the small niche as well. That's what I'm wondering, Katie. That's what I think it's worth a try. I think that is a very small niche, again, that I didn't even know existed. So I think that's quite the possibility. Plus, you do have to build your following too. If you're newer on here, you got to build more so you get more people popping in and following your shows, which that's got to be really challenging, I think, for a new seller. I got lucky, was on here early and built up a big following to begin with, so I had a nice head start. But honestly, like, it doesn't even help in the long term for a seller like me, because I could have 20, I don't know how many followers I have, like 8,000 or something. But it doesn't matter because a lot of them were following me for G.I. Joe. And if I don't do a G.I. Joe show, they're not going to come into, a Garbage Pail Kid show. So we're not one dimensional. I like Mickey Mouse knives, snacks, and books. Yeah, corporate, exactly. That's why if you can find a category that you can sell, like storage units, for example, then you can do all that. Buyers maybe aren't finding you in the small. Yeah, exactly. I think both of those are amazing points. I appreciate you guys. All right. You know what? I actually would love to, I could talk all day, but I think I need to raid somebody in a few minutes. I wish I found this app way sooner. It's been a game changer. Ooh, I love it. Oh, Mama Tovex, that's amazing. So how were you selling before? Were you selling just through eBay or Mercari or other apps like that? But yeah, this app is it's so underrated right now. Like, not enough people know about Whatnot at all. Like, it's just it's an infant. It's in its infancy still. Hold on. TT Shop and Instagram. All right, cool. So what are you finding better through here? Just the structure of being able to have everything paid for through here, not having to chase people down, not having to your shipping labels, all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming most of that is the advantage, and then having like sellers in the niche in the app already for you. I imagine all those things are some of the positives. But yeah, this app's incredible. Definitely use your Instagram following to bring them over too. Everything nice. Yeah, it's an addictive app too. Like, if you're a buyer, if you're a collector, I mean, also the scrolling capabilities now, it's crazy. It wasn't like that before. Now you could just endlessly scroll through shows, and you could probably find just about anything right now. I think I've asked before, but how do you get less than 1 day shipping? Good question. You're saying when it says like, I'm assuming that's a good question. I don't know how that works because I've been between 1 and 2 days on my profile, and I have seen other sellers be less than 1. I'm guessing there's same day shipping stuff. That's really it. I'm guessing that they run a show, they end it, then they drop the packages off at the post office maybe that day or the next day. And I would think that would keep them in that very, very fast, under 1 day per se. You know what I mean? Yeah, you ship when you end your show. I think they measure it though based on when the packages get scanned by USPS. I think that's the big thing. Do you recommend linking? Oh yeah. First time, can you do that yet? I remember they were talking about doing that. Maybe I need to learn about that. Can you link eBay and Mercari now? I know they talked about it, but I didn't know it was actually launched. And I sound silly saying that now, but hey, if that's true, I need to go do that right away. Let's see. Do you recommend linking? I ship when I end my show. Yep. Not sure about Mercari. Yeah, I don't know if you can link. There's a whole other thing you could do. So with eBay, I'm not going to get into this too deep, but I probably should do a whole show or video about this. You can extract or export there's an app that links everything now. Oh my gosh. Corporate Goth, wait, tell us more. Did they get into like Zapier or something like that? Or there's a different app? App to connect Mercari and eBay? Yeah, I remember them talking about it. I just didn't know if it would happen. But the old school way to do it, which a lot of people don't realize, is you can take your eBay listings out. You can download them into a CSV file. Then you can edit those the way you want, and you can upload them through Whatnot on the PC, which is, I've done that before, and it's incredible. So you can take all those listings and upload them through whatnot. It's pretty easy, actually, if you know a little bit about using Google Sheets. I don't remember the name of it. If you list on the app, and you can send it to the platforms. All right, corporate. I'm going to look into that. Let's see. Does Howard know? Oh, no, Howard's not there. I thought Howard was on. All right, now I'm going to have to look that up now, corporate. That's good advice. Is there anybody that I could raid, guys, that you want me to raid? Otherwise, I just usually pick somebody random. So maybe you give me like a few seconds. I got to wrap it up, though. Usually I say thanks for the bids, buys, and BS, guys. I'm just going to say thanks for the BS today, I guess. Thanks for the just hanging out and being here. I am going to try the takeaways. Do your shop, use your shop, and you can run auctions from your shop. Load your shop up so people can find you. I'm going to try putting a piece of tape over the number of people that are in the stream, which is right here, I think you guys said. So I can get out of my head about that. And let's see. It's Vendu. Oh, that's the name of it? Simply, thank you. Vendu. All right, now we all have homework to do, thanks to Simply. And also the first time for letting us know. And Corporate Goth, I mean. Let's see. I don't remember the name. Thank you, guys. Again, I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys real soon in the next one. Make sure you guys bookmark, and I'll be live later doing I guess I'll be doing a G.I. Joe show and maybe some other stuff too. So appreciate you guys' help, everybody. Let's go ahead and raid somebody. See ya.